Skill practice is a core component from the skill training portion and takes place immediately after skill theory and exercises. This component is broken down into two parts, passage coverage and answer justification. And this video will focus on passage coverage. During this component, students apply the skill in the reading passages, which helps in understanding the core information regarding the topic. To prepare for this component, you will need the textbook and the answer key or class guide. To teach or simulate this component, you will need the textbook. This component will be simulated during training.
Okay everyone, let's go ahead and look at the first passage. Can you read me the title, Megan?
The news media in the past.
Very good. Now, Sharon, how do you get your news?
By watching TV.
Okay, good. TV. What about you, Megan?
The internet.
Internet. Okay, so we have TV and internet. Sharon, what about your parents?
They read the newspaper.
What about your parents, Megan?
My mom watches the TV.
Okay, good. So those are all different types of news media. Now, looking back at the title, Megan, when are we talking about news media?
In the past.
Okay, good. Now, based on this, Sharon, what do you think will be the topic of the passage?
News media in the past.
Okay, good. So let's go ahead and look at paragraph number 1. Now, what is the first thing that we should always identify, Megan?
The topic.
Very good. And after we identify the topic, what should we identify, Sharon?
The thesis.
Okay, and why is it important to identify the thesis?
It helps us predict what the passage will be about.
Very good. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys both 1 minute to skim the passage and identify the topic and thesis statement. Alright. Good job, guys. What is the topic, Sharon?
News.
Good. And why did you choose that as a topic?
Because it's repeated.
Okay. Very good. And what is our thesis statement, Megan?
This human appetite for news has not changed. However, how people learn about the news has changed dramatically.
Very good. And more importantly, why do you think that this is the thesis?
It helps us predict the passage.
Okay, good. So both of us, let's go ahead and underline our thesis and circle our topic. Okay, I'll go ahead and write it up on the board. Okay, so now that we have our topic and our thesis, what will our main ideas be about, Megan?
News and how it's changed.
Very good. Okay. And looking at this, Sharon, what do you think our pattern of organization will be?
Time.
Okay. Very good. And why do you think that this will be a pattern of organization?
Because there's a keyword change.
Excellent job. Okay. And Megan, so because of this, what type of transitions should we see?
Time transitions.
Okay. Very good. So let's go ahead and just notate that the pattern of organization will be time. So let's go ahead and go on to the second paragraph. I want you both to skim the second paragraph and find me the first main idea. Okay, good job, guys. Now, what are we talking about in this paragraph, Sharon?
Newspapers.
Very good. And what is the first main idea?
Before the invention of printing, people wrote newspapers by hand.
And why is this the main idea?
Because it shows a type of news.
Good. Megan, do we see any time transitions to confirm this?
Yes.
Good. And what is that time transition?
Before.
Good. So let's go ahead and underline the main idea and circle the transition. Okay. So now we have the main idea. What do we think our major details will be about, Megan?
Examples of newspapers written by hand.
Good. So let's go ahead and look at that paragraph and find us those examples. What is our first major detail, Sharon?
For example, over 2,000 years ago, the Chinese government employed educated people to write the news.
Why is this a major detail?
Because it's an example of the newspaper.
Very good. And what did the Chinese government do, Megan?
They employed educated people to write the news.
Good. Now, how did you know that this was an example?
Because of the transition, for example.
Good. Okay, so let's go ahead and underline that major detail and circle the transition. So now we have our first major detail, we have to find our second major detail. What is our second major detail, Megan?
At about the same time, Julius Caesar, the leader of the huge and powerful Roman Empire, put a daily newspaper on the wall of a government building.
Excellent job. And why is this a major detail?
Because it shows another example.
Good. And again, what did Julius Caesar do, Sharon?
He put a daily newspaper on the wall.
Okay, good. So let's go ahead and underline that second major detail. Okay, good job, guys. Let's go ahead and go on to the next paragraph.